Om Tatsat. Om Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna te Namah. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. Today's topic I have chosen from the Gospel, getting boon. All the devotees, all the spiritual seekers, all the worldly-minded people, they all pray to God and want God's grace and blessings. They want their accomplishments to be fulfilled. So, everyone is desirous of seeking boon from God. Lord Krishna himself tells in the Bhagavad Gita, Artho Jigyasu Artharthi Jnani cha Bhartarshava. 4 varieties of people pray him. One is who is in distress. People who are in distress. They pray to God to get some relief from the suffering. And he who wants to inquire about things in the world happening, he wants to know, that is Jigyasu, inquirer. And then Artharthi, one who wants wealth. And then Jnani, one who is seeking knowledge, spiritual knowledge. All these 4 categories, they worship God to get their desires fulfilled. Sri Ramakrishna has said in the Gospel, he always points out, whenever the opportunity comes, he immediately points out, what's the aim of life? Again and again, Sri Ramakrishna tells very emphatically and pointedly, he tells, the aim of life is the attainment of God. Work is only a preliminary step. It can never be the end. Even unselfish work is only a means, not the end, and not the end. Suppose God appeared before you and asks you, accept a boon from me. Would you then ask him, oh God, build me some hospitals and dispensaries? He was talking to Shambhu Malik, who was very much desirous of philanthropic activities, mostly hospitals and dispensaries. So Sri Ramakrishna is teaching him, would you ask God, oh God, build me some hospitals and dispensaries? Or would you not rather pray to him, oh God, may I have pure love at your lotus feet? May I have your uninterrupted vision, hospitals, dispensaries, and all such things are unreal. God alone is real and all else unreal. Furthermore, after realizing God, one feels that God alone is the doer and we are but his instruments. We get that realization. Then why should we forget him and destroy ourselves by involving in too many activities? After realizing God, one may, through his grace, become his instrument in building many hospitals and dispensaries. First point is, gather all your energy, resources. Try to realize the truth. Then, whatever activity you do may carry weight and If God wants, it shall be done. In another place, Sri Ramakrishna, referring to the gopis wanted to see Krishna. Sri Krishna wanted to give gopis spiritual experience. So he took them and they were dipping their heads in the waters. Immediately they were taken to the abode of Lord Vishnu. All the gopis are in Vaikuntha. Then the gopis immediately prayed to Krishna, "O Krishna, we want to see Gopala and serve him. Please grant us that boon alone. We don't want anything else." They were not aspiring even for Vaikuntha Lok. They want to serve Krishna, Gopala. Lord Krishna teaches Arjuna in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Karma Yoga. In the beginning, at the time of creation, Brahma created people along with sacrifice and declared that by performing sacrifices they would become more prosperous, and also that sacrifice would be their wish-fulfilling Kamadhenu. That is the divine cow of Indra that fulfills the wishes and gives boons. Therefore, please the gods through sacrifice, that means through yajnas, through worship, through offerings. And they in turn will please you by granting you boons. Thus appeasing each other mutually, you will be able to achieve supreme welfare for all. The gods will reward you with the luxuries of life, pleased with your performance of sacrifices. But, Lord Krishna says in the Gita, he certainly is a thief who accepts such gifts from gods without offering them sacrifices. The saintly persons get relief from all kinds of sins by partaking the food that has been first offered to gods as sacrifice. But those who prepare food for their selfish ends eat but only sins. The idea of Varadana, the giving boon, is exemplified through various incidents described in the Vedas, Upanishads, Puranas, and classical literatures. From the study of the ancient Indian literature, we know that such boons were received by deserving persons, by propitiating, worshipping, or serving holy persons, men of realization, or the supernatural powers embodied as gods and goddesses. The word vara is derived from the Sanskrit root vri, which means to desire or to choose. When a deserving person desires or chooses something from a powerful giver, or when a superior person gives blessing to a man, it becomes true. It is well known that ancient seers possessed such remarkable powers. Men of realization are totally based on the practice of truth in mind, speech, and action. Through austerities and the constant practice of truth, they developed superhuman power of will. On account of the power born of truthfulness, whatever they spoke became a reality. The meaning of the word vara comes nearer to the word ashirvad or blessing. But there is a subtle difference between vara and ashirvada. Blessing is an expression of one's good wish towards someone who is going to be its recipient, whereas a boon is an act of grace, which invariably becomes realized in action. The genesis of the idea of boon can be traced to the Rigveda, where the various verbal forms of the root vri, that is to choose or request, occur. The seeker generally expects protection, friendship, Rewards like heroic sons, wealth, property, which should be helpful to him. Only in the 10th mandala of the Rig Veda, a rishi is seen praying for removing darkness of ignorance from the heart. In the Rig Veda, a rishi himself sometimes chooses something for himself. Herein, we do not have situations where somebody is made to be pleased by a person. In Yajurveda also, the verbal forms of the root vri occur. It narrates some stories in brief. In this narration, the boon is indirect or conditional. The Brahmana portion of the Vedas throws more light on the ideas of Vardhana. The Brahmanas relate different sacrificial rites for attaining boons. You do this yaga, you do this yajna, you will get that boon. Dashrath did Putra Kameshti yaga, by which he got 4 sons, Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, Shatrugna. According to the Brahmanas, the boon is granted by laying down a condition to a seeker. It is not a mere process of giving and taking, but the giver of the boon asks some kind of work to be done by the receiver, and then the giver agrees to offer boons to the receiver in exchange according to his wish. The recipient of the boon does not ask for wealth, cattle, land, etc. as in the Samhitas. On the contrary, they ask for having a share in the sacrificial rites. They are satisfied with the offerings of the oblations. Aitariya Brahmana narrates a boon as a reward or payment. It is done in response to the service. In various Upanishads, there are several stories dealing with the idea of boon. The stories involve a giver who is either a god or a sage, or an eminent Brahmin or a king. The choosing of the boon was not obligatory, but the receiver had full freedom in choice. Most of these Upanishadic receivers, having an earnest desire for deeper spiritual knowledge, approach an elevated soul and express their desires, which are fulfilled. Sometimes the seeker, an inquirer into state after death knowledge, metaphysical knowledge, spiritual knowledge, asks to know how a soul passes away and by which path does it proceed and the place where it reaches. These boons are related to the knowledge of rebirth and liberation of an individual soul. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, we find Shvetakesu's father, already well versed in the scriptures, approaching the king Pravahana Jayavali for a knowledge about how and where the soul passes away after the death of the body and how is it reborn. The king, who had already instructed the son, received the father, a genuine seeker, with all respect, offered him a seat, water, and reverential offering. Then the king said to the seeker, Venerable Gautam, we offer you a boon. When Gautama asked for the knowledge of the soul of man, the king said, Please be not offended with us, Gautam, just as your parental grandfather was not with us. Before this knowledge never dwelt with a Brahmana, but I shall impart it to you, for who can refuse you when you speak thus? Heaven is verily fire. The sun himself is its fuel. His rays its smoke, the day its flame, the 4 directions its sparks. In this fire the gods offer faith as libation. Out of that offering King Moon is produced. The king then gave him the secrets of the eschatological knowledge, that is, what happens to the soul after the death, knowledge pertaining to that realm, by which one can know where the immortal soul goes after the mortal body is dead. The same story is repeated again in Chandogya Upanishad in a little more elaborate way. The Boon story of the Kathopanishad, one of the most widely read Upanishads, is well known. It gives a vivid description of the nature of Brahman and the way to attain it. It begins with an ancient story. A Brahmin king called Vajasavas performed a sacrifice in which he gave away all his possessions. Amongst them, there were many feeble cows which were offered as a gift to priests. His son was disturbed at the sight of such undesirable gifts. So the son Nachiketas asked his father to whom he would be offered. Nachiketas was a very bright and young brahmacharyan, was always focused on the truth. When Nachiketas repeated the question again and again, his father became angry. In that angry mood, the father said, "To death I give you." Nachiketas was honest, so he took this as a command and gladly went to the abode of Yama, the god of death. But Yama was absent, and Nachiketas had to wait at his door for 3 days and nights before he came back. In order to pay off the compensation for the delay and discomfort to this guest, especially a Brahmin boy waiting patiently at the door of the abode of death, Yama promised him 3 boons. As the first boon, the king of death assured Nachiketas that his father will bear no anger against him to his desperate coming to the house of death. Nachiketas then asked, "You know, O death, the 5 sacrifice which leads to heaven. Explain it to me, for I am full of faith. The inhabitants of heaven attain immortality. This I ask as my second boon." As the second boon, Yama taught him the secrets of the 5 sacrifice which led to heaven and which is the support of the universe and which is hidden in the hearts of the wise. Being well pleased, Yama then said to Nachiketas, "I will now give you another boon. This fire shall be named after you." It's called Nachiketagni. That particular sacrifice is called. For the third boon, Nachiketas said to Yama, "There is this doubt about a man when he is dead. Some say that he exists, others that he does not. This I should like to know. Please tell me, please teach me. This is the third of my boons." Yama asked him to pray for other boons, since the nature of the Atman is subtle and since it is difficult to understand this secret. Yama said, "Oh boy, don't press me. Release me from that boon. If you deem any other boon equal to that, choose it. Choose wealth and a long life and any number of servants. Be the king of the wide earth. Besides all these things, I will make you the enjoyer of all desires. But don't ask about the knowledge of the Atma." Nachiketas said, "O death, these endure only till tomorrow. Are they permanent? Furthermore, all these enjoyments and temptations which you are offering to me, they exhaust the vigor of all the sense organs. Even the longest life is short indeed. So I don't want any of them. Keep your horses, dances and songs for yourself. Tell me of that great hereafter about which a man has his doubts." Nachiketas will surely not choose any other boon but the one so wrapped in mystery. Yama then proceeded to give him the knowledge of the immortality of the soul, the undying self, which is the central theme of all the Upanishads. In the Puranas, however, we find boons are being prayed for more mundane needs. But in all these cases, where boons have been offered, the receivers are persons of great service, sacrifice and austerities, and the givers are persons of realization. In the Mahabharata, there are several stories dealing with boon. The same god of death, Yama, offered boon to Savitri, a very famous story, who impressed him by her unflinching faithfulness to her husband Satyavan, even when the husband lay dead. Savitri's chastity and sacrifice inspired Yama to give her a boon. Savitri utilized this opportunity to regain the life of her husband and therefore prayed to Yama for a boon for becoming a mother of 100 sons. Yama gave back the life to Satyavan, and thus his boon became true. In the Ramayana, we see Ravan propitiating Brahma, the creator, with his superhuman austerities. Brahma was pleased to offer him a boon, but when Ravan prayed for immortality, it was not granted, as Ravana was not fit for receiving immortality. Like Hanuman or Nachiketas, with all the power of austerities, Ravana's mind was for worldly enjoyments. Rama, pleased by the service, purity and sacrifice of Hanuman, offered him the boon to live through all the ages and sing Rama's glory. Kunti, the chief queen of Pandu, served with all devotion the angry ascetic Durvas. Once Durvas visited her palace, when Kunti served him very devotedly, the sage was highly pleased, so he taught her as a boon the sacred mantra by which she could have immediate vision of any god or goddess whom she would worship. Through the visions of these gods and the fulfillment of many prayers, through the grace of these gods, Kunti, along with her 5 sons, survived a whole life of incessant sufferings and obstacles, and lived a life of perfect righteousness. Draupadi, the daughter-in-law of Kunti, she worshipped the sun god with all her devotion. Pleased with her devotion, the sun god offered her the Akshaya Patra, that is, the inexhaustible pot, from which food could be given to any number of guests in her house. Only there is one condition for this boon. The supply of food would continue so long Draupadi herself remained without food. The moment she took her food, the pot would cease to supply any more food. Probably this boon story is symbolic. It is the spirit of austerity, renunciation, and personal sacrifice, which inspires the spirit of blessings, benediction, and offering of boons from realized souls, sages and seers. So, we are all praying for boon, and what type of boon we should ask, that depends upon our purity of mind. Once Swami Vivekananda, when he was in great trouble in the home, father had passed away, there was no earning member, he didn't have a job, the whole family was suffering very acutely. So finally he thought, let me go and pray Sri Ramakrishna to remove this suffering so that he can pray to Kali, Divine Mother, because he would daily converse with Kali Mother. So he can ask on my behalf, he can ask the boon from Kali so that I may be relieved from suffering. So with that intention, Swami Vivekananda came to Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna knew the situation very well, and when he came, Sri Ramakrishna talked with him very affectionately and then asked him how he was doing. He said he is undergoing tremendous stress and strain, difficult situation. Many days they would go without food. So Vivekananda requested Sri Ramakrishna, will you please pray Mother to release from this suffering? And Sri Ramakrishna smiled and said, well, is she not your mother? Sri Ramakrishna was waiting for this opportunity, because Swami Vivekananda initially was not accepting Divine Mother Kali. So now the situation has come. He has to realize that fact, that Mother of the universe should be propitiated, and she is the mother of everyone. And he said, look, why do you want proxy? Can you not go yourself and ask for a boon? Today is Tuesday, Mother's Day. Go to the chapel, Mother is waiting. Offer your pranams and ask her whatever you want. She will grant you everything. There is no hesitation. You can be as free as you are free with me. So Sri Ramakrishna said all these things in such a way. Immediately he made Swamiji say, all right, I will go now. I will ask the Mother what you told me. So he went briskly to the chapel. He went and stood before Mother, made a salutation. And when he saw the Mother, he saw the living embodiment of Divine Mother Kali. Living embodiment. And when she saw, she had a very pleasant look and smiled and talked to Vivekananda in a very affectionate way. Well, you have come Very good. What do you want? Do you want anything? Ask any boon you want. By seeing the mother, his mind was totally in a different realm. As I said, his purity of mind is such, no other thought can enter into his mind. Immediately he prayed, "Oh Mother, grant me the boon of Jnana Bhakti Viveka Vairagya. Give me knowledge, give me devotion, give me discrimination, give me renunciation." That's all you wanted? Tathastu. Then he came back. Sri Ramakrishna was waiting. Immediately Sri Ramakrishna asked, "Well, did you ask the Divine Mother about the problems in your home? You are not having food and so many difficulties are going on and you are pulled by stress and strain. Did you ask to relieve?" Immediately Swamiji confessed, "Master, I did not ask any of these things. I simply forgot." Forgot? All right. Go second time. Remember very well to ask for this. Go second time. So Sri Ramakrishna wanted to make him understand what he is getting experience is real. It's not simply dream or vision or hallucination. No. So he wanted to make clear that what vision he is having is real. So second time he went. Second time same thing repeated. As soon as his mother began to talk, he was in a different plane of consciousness. This mundane world didn't exist for him. He simply said, "I want Jnana Bhakti." Same thing he repeated. Again he came. Again Sri Ramakrishna asked. He scolded him also. "Go again." So 3 times he went, 3 times he asked the same. He answered. He wanted the same boon. Jnana Bhakti Viveka Vairagya. Then when he came back, Swamiji said, "Master, it's all your trick. You made me to go to ask for mother. I am unable to ask anything of this world." And then Sri Ramakrishna said, "Well, now you have accepted the mother?" "Yes, yes. Mother is supreme." "Good." Then Sri Ramakrishna said, "Don't worry. Whatever the minimum needs required for your home, they will be provided for." That's all. So that's the way how we get linked with the divine. So desires and desires, material desires, spiritual desires. Material desires is just like kids asking for toys. They play with toys, they become disgusted, they throw it away and they again cry. But spiritual boons are not like that. Spiritual desire takes you forward in spiritual path, giving you realization of the truth. So you must aspire for God. "Oh God, reveal to me. Remove all the impurities from the mind." Ask like that. Pray like that. Sri Ramakrishna tells how to pray. Read Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. He himself prays and tells, like that you must pray to the Divine Mother. Don't pray for worldly things. Pray for spiritual illumination, for spiritual upliftment. So, through Shambhu Malik, Sri Ramakrishna has instructed us, if you seek any boon from God, always aspire for realizing the truth. I want to see, I want your vision. Please give your darshan. I want to communicate with you. Please reveal the truth to me. First is first. First reveal the truth, then the rest will. So, in this way, we have to understand the play of the divine. Abhayahasta, always God has, in one hand he holds Abhayahasta, that is fearlessness. He always grants fearlessness. When God is there, nothing to fear. Chapter 44, page 827, the Master on himself and his experiences. Sri Ramakrishna was sitting in his room at Dakshineshwar. Rakal M. Dvija and his father and other devotees were present. It was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. After returning from Vrindavan, Rakal had spent a few days at home. Now he was staying with the Master. Latu, Harish and Ramlal were also staying at the temple garden. Sri Ramakrishna was not well. It was the beginning of the illness, subsequently diagnosed as the fatal cancer. But this did not disturb the serenity of his mind. Day and night he had only one thought, and that was the spiritual welfare of his disciples. He was guiding them toward the attainment of God. He encouraged them constantly to cultivate knowledge and devotion, and warned them of the snares of lust and gold. He was completely indifferent to his own illness and devoted himself wholeheartedly to the fulfillment of his earthly mission. Dvija was about 16 years old After the death of his mother, his father had married a second time. Dvija often accompanied him to Dakshineshwar, but his father did not approve of it. Dvija's father had for a long time been speaking of visiting Sri Ramakrishna. Today, he had come to Dakshineshwar. He was a manager of a business firm in Calcutta and has passed his examination in law. Master said to the Dvija's father, "Please don't mind your children's coming here. I ask people to live in the world after the awakening of their spiritual consciousness. After extracting gold through hard labor, a man may keep it under earth or in a box or under water. The gold is not affected. I ask people to live in the world in a spirit of detachment. If you break the jackfruit after rubbing oil on your hands, the sticky juice will not smear them. If the unripe mind dwells in the world, the mind gets soiled. One should first attain knowledge and then live in the world. If you put milk in water, the milk is spoiled. But this will not happen if the butter churned from the milk is put in water." Dvija's father said, "That's true, sir." Master said smilingly, "I know why you scold your children. You only threaten them." The brahmachari said to the snake, "You are a fool indeed. I forbade you to bite, but not to hiss. Your enemies would not have beaten you if only you had hissed at them. Your scolding of the children is really a hissing." Dvija's father smiles. A good son is an indication of his father's spiritual nature. If good water comes out when a reservoir is dug, it only indicates the virtue of the owner. A son is called Atmaja, the self-reborn. There is no difference between you and your son. In one way, you yourself are born as your son. In one sense, you are a worldly person working in a business office and enjoying worldly life. In another sense, you are a devotee of God in the form of your son. I heard that you are a very worldly person, but now I find it is not so. Smiling, "You know all this. I understand that you are very circumspect. Perhaps that's why you are nodding your assent to what I am saying." Dvija's father smiles. "If your children visit this place, they will be able to know what you really are, how precious one's father is. If a person deceives his father and mother in order to seek religion, he gets only worthless trash. A man is born with several debts to his father, the devas and the rishis. Besides, there is his debt to his mother. He also has a debt to his wife. She must be supported. If the wife is chaste, the husband must provide for her after his death. I could not live at Vrindavan on account of my mother. When I remembered that my mother was living in the temple garden here at Dakshineshwar, I could not feel peaceful at Vrindavan. I ask people to live in the world at the same time fix their minds on God. I don't ask them to give up the world. I say, fulfill your worldly duties and also think of God." Dvija's father said, "I tell my children that they should attend to their studies. I don't forbid them to come to you, but I don't want them to waste time in frivolities with youngsters." Master, referring to Dvija, he said, "This boy must have been born with some good tendencies. Why are the two other brothers different from him? Why is he alone spiritually minded? Will you be able to compel him not to visit this place? Sooner or later, everyone unfolds his inborn tendencies." Dvija's father said, "Yes, that is true." Sri Ramakrishna came down from the couch and sat on the floor beside Dvija's father. While talking with him, he touched him now and then. It was nearly evening. Sri Ramakrishna asked Yam and the others to show Dvija's father the temples. He said to them, "I should have accompanied him myself if I were well." He asked someone to give sweets to the young men and said to Dvija's father, "Let the children have a little refreshment. It is customary." Dvija's father visited the temples and the images and took a stroll in the garden. Let us stop here. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. Own name streams down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing in His name that bought for weary souls. Various are Thy names, O Lord, in each and every name Thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of Thy name. So vast is Thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to Thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass, be patient, forbearing like a tree, take no honor to Thyself, give honor to all, chant and sing to the name of the Lord. O Lord and Soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the ties of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for Thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is Thy servant, O sweet one. In Thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath Thy feet. How I long for the day when an instant separation from Thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns with His desire in the world without Thee the heart lies void. Prostrate at Thy feet let me be in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of Thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of Thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O Thou who stillest the hearts of Thy devotees, do with me what Thou wilt, for Thou art my heart's beloved, Thou and Thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the free make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteous lead rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be free from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred books, be satisfied. For He being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.